Day 302, and it is one cold day in February. Um, it's interesting how when we get how we get accustomed to things. I was thinking about that when I was walking out here. The weather, and it's probably I don't really know. I haven't looked at the weather, but it feels like it might be somewhere between 10 and 20 degrees out right now, and there's a nice wind kicking, so you feel it extra well. But in the summertime we're able to withstand those 100-degree temperatures, and in the wintertime it gets down to zero. And when that day comes in wintertime, after dealing with zero temperatures, all of a sudden it's 40 degrees. It feels like just a gorgeous day. And then in the summertime, when you're dealing with 100-degree temperature, it drops down to 60 and you're freezing. But it's just a little comment on how different things. We we get used to things, used to standards, and then when there's a big change, that's when we feel it the most. When there's a dramatic change and slight changes, uh, slight fluctuations, we might not notice too much. But I don't know. It's kind of funny I mentioned that. I wasn't really going down that road. But it kind of relates to what I wanted to talk about, and that's day 302, and I've obviously been in one of the biggest slumps of the biggest lump of this year, of this journey, of this goal. However, today I kind of thought about it. It's not that I'm in a big slump. It's that I'm probably going through the most difficult time. I'm probably dealing with some of the hardest things that I've had to deal with along the way, and that's where I'm really starting to recognize who I am. And I'm quite disappointed at myself. I'm quite disappointed in there's a way I've thought of myself all this time in my life, and how I felt about myself, and who I thought I was, and the standards I believed I had, and now through these different self-observation exercises, through looking through my life through a different set of eyes, I can feel my values changing. I can feel my ideals changing. I can feel my wisdom changing, and at the same time, I'm still kind of caught in that wave of myself. I'm still caught in those things that are ingrained into my psyche. So I'm still doing things that I'm outgrowing at the same time, and in that, it's bringing to light these elements of my life that who I am, how I act, how I've been, how I treat people, how I expect to be treated, the safety mechanisms that I have, the my actions and reactions to the world, just on so many levels. And so in going through that, that's the part that's driven me off course. I believe it's just been in the last couple weeks, maybe even the last month and a half. I've been kind of given a choice to step out of myself, and really grow, really push through, for lack of a better way to put it, to kind of break through the soil, and cross over that threshold, cross over that point of no return. Or should I crawl back into myself again, and maintain that? Should I wither at that? And it's funny. There's been a lot of tests along the way. There's actually a test just happened while I was talking, and it's up to me. I mean, do I react as the old self would react, or or do I move on? Do I outgrow it? And one of the things that I've been thinking about, well, not necessarily thinking about, but I've kind of been coming back, and that's the capacity to allow anything to happen. The capacity just to accept things as they are and as they occur, and not to judge right or wrong, or good or bad. Um, and I guess in that, there is a forgiveness, and that's the there's a piece I talked about, a sense of bliss that I talked about at the very beginning of January, that I've been pretty far away from it. I've still been able to kind of dip into it here and there, but it really comes down to that, just being able to allow anything to happen, being able to, have that faith that, it's not good or bad, it just is. There's something to be gained from it, there's something to be taken from it. There's some growth that needs to be gone by it. And you know what? When I think about it, these little things that affect me on a daily basis, they're so forgotten. I could probably look back a year from now, and I might not even have any idea what I'm talking about when I say that there's a little trial going on. I won't remember. I might remember because I made this specific video, but realistically, these little trials, these little daily mundane trials, they amount to nothing. They really have no, they can get me frazzled, they can get me worked up, they can get me angry, they can do whatever, or I can just let them go. And you know what? As, it's a part of this I've heard it referred to as the world of shadows. This world that really doesn't make any sense. The only valid and valuable and true world is inside. And don't want to get too deep on that, but if I could get to that point where I could allow anything to happen, and not be fazed by it, just take it as an experience, take it as a sense of beauty in itself, as life, as experiencing life, and not as judging it for anything. It's funny, but all of these truly strong things that really seem to make a difference, they're once again, I'm being turned back into Christianity. And you could just as well say the Tao. It's funny because they're running right alongside each other, Taoism and Christianity, in my mind right now. But if I were able to forgive everything, if I were able to allow anything to happen, if I were able just to accept it as it is and experience it, and not judge it, I mean, and have faith that I'm going to be taken care of, and everything's fine, and everything's going to be great, and do my best, and do it for the higher entity of spirit, the higher entity of spirit that's higher than my mentality, the social aspects of my life, and just life becomes so crystal and so clean and so pure, and that's where that bliss comes from. That's where that freedom comes from those very basic principles. Very basic, but I'm wrestling with them. I'm struggling with them. It's it's difficult to grasp and put into the everyday situations and overcome myself. And the more I struggle, the more I see myself struggling, the more I see myself failing, the more I see that brings me down, and that pulls me away from this journey. And it's up to me to pick myself up and keep moving forward. So definitely need to stay focused, stay through it too. Hey, what are you doing today? Thanks.